Digital literacy is best defined as the knowledge, skills, and behaviors used in a broad range of digital devices. Prior to this course, I considered myself to be an experienced member of the technological culture. Having access to all of the latest technology, I quickly succumbed to the screen. Even though I understood how these digital devices worked, there is still something missing. What I learned that I had been missing was what Professor Self calls technological literacy, or people's fictional understanding of what computers are and how they are used. I was using these technologies for their basic functions, instead of questioning why we use them in the first place. In order to answer my questions, I needed to experiment with the tools we use while fixated on our screens. To begin this reorientation of the internet, I examined my social media use. The application Twitter was already a cornerstone of my social media experience. I've had an account since high school, which made me believe I mastered the site. My personal account was used strictly for social interaction and entertainment. Paired with the constant addiction of checking my feed, Twitter turned into a distraction. It was soon brought to my attention that there were better ways to go about using this application. An increase in involvement within the Twitter culture would transform how I'd interact on social media. In order to increase my involvement, I was challenged to identify with a culture on Twitter. To create a new professional identity, I created connections with the NFL subculture and those enrolled in my class. As compared to my other account, the flow of my Twitter was organized and far less cluttered. Looking back at my tweets from my personal account, I see a big difference in terms of substance. More importantly, I see that I neglected to engage as a member of a participatory culture. Using certain functions of the app, like the hashtag or retweet, strictly for entertainment did not serve a purpose to anyone other than myself. Thus, my account had not identified with a culture and contributed only to my personal entertainment. I needed to see how Twitter works best as a participatory culture. Jenkins describes this culture as something that shifts the focus of literacy from individual expression to community involvement. Of course, there are ways in which we can improve our communal relations while on Twitter. Hashtags, like the course tag, help those relevant to the tag communicate. Retweets are designed to guide the flow of information from one Twitter feed to the next. Once engaged in the Twitter world, connecting via social media becomes a digital tool. In my first tweet on this account, I used the course hashtag to share my personal life with those enrolled in the course. Other times I contributed to this subculture by tweeting responses or thoughts I had about what we were learning in the class. The changes I made in this experiment taught me you can make more out of Twitter when you move away from focusing on your own personal image and move toward connecting with others. After I concluded my experiment with Twitter, I took the same approach to analyze Facebook. What I had learned was that my history with Facebook has changed dramatically over the years. It went from my top choice of social media to an account that I kept around to stay connected with family and old friends. Facebook, which used to be a domain for young adults, has been taken over by the elder generation, including our parents. Along with the abundance of advertisements, Facebook has lost its touch. Since the site's makeover, I acknowledge Facebook is no longer my top choice of social media. Even though I still have an account, I rarely ever find myself checking or updating my Facebook. The next big step I took to rediscover the internet was to create a blog. Blogs are user-created websites that allow someone to express their thoughts and interests in a creative space. Creating a blog allows that person to enter a culture where they can express their feelings or ideas about the topic. Having no prior experience with blogging, I learned how I can make my own mark on the internet. WordPress is one of the most popular domains people use to create a blog. This service allows users to customize each post to add interactive elements to them. Another interesting function WordPress allows is the customization of a website. The freedom for creativity helps users find and create an identity on their sites. As a result, those who relate to that identity find it easier to connect and learn from a given blog post. The topic I wrote about in my blog happened to be my favorite sport, football. Before I began this blog, I didn't know what Kevin Kelly meant by saying no web phenomenon is more confounding than blogging. Now this explains why I had little trouble with my blog. I began researching more about my topic each week in order to create a more creative and authentic blog post. Looking back on this experience, I take pride in each blog post I published. However, my experience with blogging was not complete until I was introduced to Storyfy, the site that works by creating a post in the form of a story, hence Storyfy. To add to the creative culture, Storify allows users to link external media into a post. In my Storify posts, I featured highlight videos and players' tweets to add authenticity in my writing. After completing my first blogging experience, I learned how to express my interest using a creative and interactive webpage. The final services we experimented with were Zeit, Feedly, and Pocket. Zeit is both a customizable and filtered news generator. The application asks users to pick and choose from certain categories. Zeit then finds credible sources to grab articles that relate to that topic. I found Zeit to be a reliable service for current events and headlines. I use Zeit to find interesting stories that I featured in my blog. Known as an RSS reader, Feedly is a hub for various forms of online news and media. Tim O'Reilly explained RSS readers, saying, RSS allows someone to link not just to a page, but to subscribe to it, with a notification every time that the page changes. Feedly is structured to filter and aggregate the content of your choice. It also helps serve as a faster and more efficient way to surf the web. Finally, Pocket is a service that helps save content on the internet to be viewed later. Pocket taught me that there was a way to save an entire document to be viewed for later instead of skimming through it. Although I did not use Pocket as much as I thought I would, it is important enough knowing there is a service that makes surfing the web that much more convenient. Digital literacy comes very easy to those up to date in the technology world. The more advanced we make technology, the more popular it becomes. And not only do people use it, they can't get enough of it. Just listen to Kevin Kelly, who said, "Everywhere we look, we see screens." Today, the world has become a culture that's obsessed with the internet. Everywhere you turn, more people are fixated on a screen, making human interaction a thing of the past. Now, although I appear to be bashing the internet and the addiction it has caused, I am still a victim. After taking the time to document my cellular usage, I noticed whenever I had free time, I was checking my phone. Sometimes I even caught myself checking the same applications more than once. As digital technologies continue to evolve, the common consumer is first in line, ready to increase their technological addiction. However, after taking this course, I was taught that the internet serves more of a purpose to us than entertainment. Instead, it is a domain that contains infinite amounts of information available for anyone willing to discover. The more we experiment with the internet, the greater our digital literacy can become. Michael Wesch created a video explaining how every contribution made on the internet has meaning. From this, it is believed that the rapid increase in time spent on the internet will result in a digitally interconnected world. Understanding the effect we have on these technologies, I can now agree with Wesch, who said, "The machine is us."